Hello and welcome, students. Remember our last lesson was on separation of powers. Now in this lesson, you're going to be learning about fundamental human rights. Now when we talk about fundamental human rights, it is the natural rights and privileges enjoyed by every citizen of a given country. Now in this lesson, you should be able to know the meaning of fundamental human rights, the types of fundamental human rights, and the reasons why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution. I'll be right back after this video. Enjoy. In this lesson, you're going to be learning about fundamental human rights. Can I hear somebody say fundamental human rights? Now remember our previous lesson was on separation of powers, and I said that separation of powers is the division of the powers of government between the executive, legislature and the judiciary. I believe that lesson was a great one and you had fun watching that video. Now when we talk about fundamental human rights, what is fundamental human rights? Fundamental human rights can be defined as those inalienable natural rights and privileges enjoyed by the citizens of a given state, which are usually stated in the constitution of the country. It is the responsibility of the state to ensure that its citizens enjoy these rights. These are the rights the United Nations Organization, UNO, has called on all member states and governments of the world to incorporate in their constitution. Such rights include the right to life, security and protection from inhuman treatment, freedom from slavery, the right to seek redress in courts, freedom from unlawful detention and imprisonment, freedom of movement, freedom of joining and forming associations, freedom of expression and freedom of the press. So students, you can see that the Constitution is a very important body here, and it helps to safeguard the fundamental human rights of every individual. Just imagine there's no Constitution. What will happen to you? And what will happen in the states? There will be chaos, there will be oppression, there will be dictatorship, there will be tyranny. There will be no efficiency in administration. People will not be able to speak about unfavorable government policies. There will be no public opinion. And this will also increase the level of crime in the states. So I believe you now understand the meaning of fundamental human rights. The next thing we're going to discuss about is the various types of fundamental human rights. What are the types of fundamental human rights? The first here we have is the right to life. Yes, every individual is entitled to have the right to life. This is your natural right and privilege, and nobody can take that away from you. No one. Now we also have security and protection from inhuman treatment. We do not deserve inhuman treatment. What we need is security and protection from every inhuman treatment, oppression, tyranny, and dictatorship. The next we have is freedom from slavery. Everyone deserves a better life. Nobody wishes to be a slave. So there is need for freedom from slavery. The next we have is the right to seek redress in court. We all have the right to seek redress in court if certain things are not in place or not in order. We also have freedom from unlawful detention and imprisonment. Yes, we all have the freedom from unlawful detention and imprisonment. Enough of unlawful detention, harassment and imprisonment. At least there is need for evidence before doing that. We also have freedom of movement. Every individual or citizen of a given country have the freedom of movement without any restriction. There is also freedom of joining and forming associations. We all have the freedom of joining and forming any association we so desire.
without any limitation or restriction. We should also have the freedom of expression and freedom of the press, the freedom to express our views about a given government policies if it is unfavorable to us or unfavorable to the states or favorable to the citizens. We have the freedom to express how we feel about a given government policies, and that is what matters in a given state. The expression or the public opinion of the people will help to restructure government policies and programs about the citizens in a given state. I believe you now understand the various types of fundamental human rights. Now, the next thing we are going to discuss about is the reasons why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution. What are the reasons why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution? Now, students, what do you think are the reasons why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution? Now, you know we're operating the 1999 Republican Constitution. Now, the first here is it makes for easy reference. Since constitutions are documented, it can easily be referred to. Yes, it can easily be referred to. We also have it. The next reason here is it helps to prevent dictatorship. The inclusion of fundamental human rights in the Constitution prevents dictatorship, thereby limiting the powers of the rulers. We have protection of citizens' rights. It equally ensures constitutional protection of citizens' rights. Another reason here is it is to comply with UNO's directive. This is to adhere to the United Nations Organization's standard. Another reason why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution is to seek redress. Now, this enables citizens seek redress for violation of their rights in the law courts. And the last we have here is to effect a change. The reason why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution is to effect a change. With its inclusion in the Constitution, no government will find it easy effecting a change in them. As long as this right is stated in the Constitution, no government can easily change them. Okay? Now watch this short video clip on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Let us, as members of the United Nations, conscious of our own shortcomings and imperfections, join our effort in good faith to live up to this high standard.
Todos os seres humanos podem invocar os direitos e as liberdades proclamados na presente declaração sem distinção alguma.
Everyone has the right to education. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages.
Todos son iguales ante la ley y tienen sin distinción derecho a igual protección de la ley.
Брак может быть заключен только при свободном и полном согласии обеих вступающих в брак сторон.
Tout individu a droit à une nationalité. Nul ne peut être arbitrairement privé de sa nationalité, ni du droit à changer de nationalité.
凡受刑事控告者，在未经获得辩护上所需的一切保证的公开审判而依法证实有罪以前，有权被视为无罪。
لكل فرد الحق في الحياة والحرية وسلامة شخصه.
प्रत्येक व्यक्ति को विचार और इसकी अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार है.
Watu wote wamezaliwa huru, hadhi na haki zao ni sawa. Wote wamejaliwa akili na dhamiri, hivyo yapaswa watendeane kindugu.
Now, students, I believe you understand the meaning of fundamental human rights, the types of fundamental human rights, and the reasons why fundamental human rights is included in the Constitution. This is where I'm going to end the lesson. Until next time, and bye.
I believe by now you should be able to understand that fundamental human right is a natural right and privileges enjoyed by every citizen of a given country. Alright, see you next time, and bye.